Hey guys, sorry about the sound of my voice. I'm getting over a cold. But last Tuesday, something happened. It was a bit traumatic, not unexpected to a degree, but unexpected now. Unexpected now. And let me just tell you what it is. My good friend, Josh Busby, passed away. And you may be wondering why I'm even talking about this because my channel is about sent ones. Well, Joshua was a believer and he was a sent one, but he had muscular dystrophy. Sure, he was not going to live a long life, but let me just tell you this. He surpassed his life expectancy, the doctor's projected life expectancy, by more than double. He was supposed to have not lived past 20, and he lived to 43 years old. 43. That's amazing. Hey, and by the way, go to the end. Keep going to the very end because I'm going to show you a video of Josh of something he absolutely loved to do that's just going to prove everything I'm about to say about him. So keep holding on, but stay till the end. You don't want to miss it. Josh Busby, again, muscular dystrophy. I can't remember the type of muscular dystrophy he had, but again, his lifespan was supposed to be 20 years old. He lived to be 43. He passed away last Tuesday. His funeral, so last Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. His funeral is tomorrow on Wednesday. All that happened in the midst of me going through, sure, a challenging circumstances. We all have challenging circumstances. Mine last week was a CT scan. It was a concern the doctor had about something potentially going on in my body, which thankfully wasn't actually what was going on. So good news. But as a result of CT scan and the contrast, or never had one before until now, my body had a delayed allergic reaction. I won't get into the details of that, but it ended up me being on steroids for a week or for 6 days and to get that under control. And of course, um, the reaction wasn't fun. The side effects of the steroids was not fun, and then I ended up getting sick in the process with this cold. So, anyways, why do I mention that? Because Josh did not let muscular dystrophy get in the way, and his battle with this disease was far more intense than my battle with an allergic reaction or a simple cold. And it's not to say I haven't had problems in my life or haven't had struggles in my life. I have, but nothing to the severity or the degree that Josh has gone through, especially physically. And despite this disease, despite the muscular dystrophy, despite the battles, Josh did something that I find those of us who are physically capable of life in so many ways, he did it far better than us. And that was simply he lived life to the fullest. He lived life with his wife. He was married. They had a son. He lived life to the fullest. I met Josh 15, 20 years ago, and we became instant friends. It was at a church. It was, I was sharing at it, and we became instant friends. We actually went out to eat afterwards, and to Brahms, if you're from Texas or Oklahoma, you know what I'm talking about. This whole thing about living life to the fullest, that is exactly the life and what I remember about Josh. His disease was physically, visibly apparent. Okay, it was obvious. But getting to know him, if that's all you looked at, you didn't even see Josh. See, when you stop to actually talk to Josh, you realize he didn't let the disease dictate his life. Sure, there were physical things that he couldn't do. No question about that. But he did not let it dictate his life. He lived it. He lived it for his wife. He lived it for his son. And more importantly, he lived it for the Lord, for Christ. He was a youth pastor. He served in his church. And then when he stopped being a youth pastor, he served in other churches in volunteer ways. And even going into the future, one of the things that I noticed about him, he became, even though he wasn't a pastor technically on staff at a church anymore, he became like a pastor online because he began to serve people online. In fact, his last couple of years on X and Facebook and social media, he would serve people and help them. And in fact, the last couple of years ago, I remember him talking with me about trying to find like what's his next stage in life, what's his next phase of life that he's going to be involved in. This is a guy with muscular dystrophy. But instead of wallowing in self-defeat and wallowing in the disease, he was like, so I'm still alive. So what am I going to do next? And so what did he do? He figured it out. And a year ago started a business and became a life coach and began coaching people with the same disease or in very similar circumstances as he was in. and began coaching them in what? Simple. How to live life, how to live it to the fullest, how not to let the disease and the circumstances bring you down to the point you become useless. Josh was anything but useless. He was incredibly proactive. He loved people. He served people. And he gave his life to just following the Lord and being used by God to the very end. In fact, one of my last communications with him this month, he was talking about, oh, I'm about to get online with one of my clients, one of the people he's coaching along. He lived life literally, not just physically alive, breathing, but lived life until the end when God took him home. That's why I'm making this video, because Josh, as you can see, as I've been putting pictures up here throughout me talking, Josh, I hope that his life, whether you know him or not, is challenging, convicting, inspires you to look at your circumstances as I've been looking at mine and just think, be like Josh. Be like Josh. So what is my advice? What is my statement I want to say? I've already said it. Be like Josh. Live life. Don't give up. Pursue Christ. Anyways, like I said at the beginning, I have a special treat for you. So thank you for watching this far. Enjoy the final bit of this video of Josh doing what he loved to do as he lived life. And I'll see you next time.